Enhanced risk over the Central Plains right now, and storms are already firing. If you live anywhere from Wichita to Kansas City and across the I-35 corridor into Oklahoma, you need a plan for destructive hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes before sunset. Over 15 million people sit inside today's threat zone. Doppler Online. On your screen now are yesterday's confirmed storm reports. 13 tornadoes, 38 wind reports, and 178 hail reports, mostly clustered across western Oklahoma and northern Texas. That system is the same one driving today's threat, and it has only gotten stronger. My read on this setup: the low-level jet is the engine. A 40 to 50 knot southerly feed at 850 millibars is pumping Gulf moisture straight into central Kansas and eastern Nebraska, and that moisture is colliding with a tightening cold front right where instability is highest. Everything converges this afternoon. Now looking at the GFS 250 millibar jet stream forecast. A 70-knot jet streak is diving southeast across the northern plains, placing the right entrance region directly over the Kansas and Nebraska threat corridor. That is textbook upper-level support for explosive storm development. This next animation shows the 500 millibar height trend over the next 48 hours. A deep trough is amplifying across the Rockies and ejecting into the plains tonight, which is why this threat extends into tomorrow as well. Here is the 850 millibar wind and frontogenesis map. The sharpest warm air advection and boundary tightening sits from northeast Kansas into southeast Nebraska, right where the SPC has drawn its highest probabilities. That is where supercells will have the best environment to organize. The one variable I am watching: if afternoon cloud cover from morning convection lingers across central Kansas past 4 p.m., the instability window shortens, and storm coverage stays more isolated rather than a broad squall line. Now looking at the day 1 wind probability map. The 30% contour, the highest here today, is draped from central Nebraska through western Iowa, with 15% values extending south through Kansas and into northern Oklahoma. Storms in this corridor will produce widespread wind gusts of 60 to 75 miles per hour, strong enough to snap power poles and peel roofs. Secure outdoor furniture and anything that can become airborne before these storms arrive. This map shows the day 1 hail probability. The 30% hail contour is centered from central Nebraska down through central Kansas, and the significant threat hatching covers most of that core zone. That hatching means hail 2 inches or larger in diameter is expected in this corridor. That is baseball-sized ice falling at terminal velocity, enough to total vehicles and punch through standard roofing. If you have a garage, use it. If you do not, get your car under any hard cover you can find. On your screen now is the day 1 tornado probability map. The 5% contour covers eastern Kansas into southeast Nebraska, with a 10% core focused right along the Kansas-Nebraska border. Significant tornado hatching overlaps nearly the entire 5 and 10% zones. That means EF2 or stronger tornadoes are in play across northeast Kansas and the surrounding area this afternoon and evening. These will not be brief spin-ups. The shear profile supports long-track supercells capable of producing violent, rain-wrapped tornadoes. Know where your shelter is right now, not when the warning sounds. Lowest interior room, away from windows, with shoes on and a helmet if you have one. The Kansas City Metro sits inside the enhanced risk, the highest category on today's map. Wichita is also in the enhanced zone. Both cities face the full spectrum of hazards: large hail, damaging wind, and tornadoes. Stepping outward, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro are under the slight risk, where organized storms are expected but coverage is lower. Omaha rounds out the slight tier, sitting on the northern edge of the instability plume. The enhanced cities carry the most concentrated threat today, and anyone from Topeka through Overland Park into the KC Metro needs to treat this afternoon like an active severe weather event, because it is. On your screen now is the HRRR model radar forecast, and this shows you where storms are expected to develop and how they move over the next 18 hours. Discrete supercells begin firing along the dry line in central Kansas between 3 and 4 p.m. Central. By 5 p.m., a cluster of intense cells pushes east-northeast toward the KC Metro, arriving between 6 and 8 p.m. A secondary line of storms develops across northern Oklahoma between 5 and 6 p.m. and sweeps through Tulsa by 9 p.m. The tornado window peaks between 4 and 8 p.m. across northeast Kansas as surface heating maximizes and the low-level jet ramps up. After dark, the threat transitions to a more linear wind event as the squall line consolidates, but overnight tornadoes remain possible and are harder to see. My call: the KC Metro takes the hardest hit between 6 and 8 p.m. Central, with large hail and a tornado threat arriving together as the lead supercells merge into that corridor. 2 severe thunderstorm watches are already active. NWS Wichita issued a watch through 7 p.m. Central. NWS Topeka and NWS Kansas City followed with their own watches, also through 7 p.m. These watches cover the core enhanced zone and confirm what the data is showing. If these watches upgrade to tornado watches this afternoon, do not be surprised. When that happens, move your awareness up another notch and make sure every person in your household knows the plan. Looking ahead, the Day 2 categorical outlook shows another enhanced risk, this time shifted east into Illinois and Indiana. Here is the Day 2 tornado map, and this is where it gets serious. A 10% tornado probability covers much of Illinois and Indiana, with SIG-2 hatching, the second highest tier the SPC issues, sitting over central Illinois. Fewer than 5 times a year does the SPC flag this level. That means EF3 to EF5 tornadoes, baseball-sized hail, and 80-knot winds are all on the table for Monday across the Chicago, Indianapolis, Nashville, and Louisville corridor. The Day 2 wind map shows a 45% core over Missouri and Arkansas, and the Day 2 hail map puts 30% values with significant hatching across central Illinois. Tomorrow may be worse than today. If you live in the Midwest, start preparing now. By Day 3, a slight risk shifts into Kentucky and Tennessee, and then the extended outlook goes quiet. Days 4 through 8 show no severe probabilities anywhere in the lower 48. The pattern breaks down, and you finally get a rest. On the backside of this system, the northern Rockies and northern High Plains are dealing with a late April snow event. Mixed precipitation stretches from Montana through Wyoming and into the Dakotas. If you are in that zone, watch for slick roads and reduced visibility through Monday morning. Meanwhile, the Northeast is sitting under a quiet high-pressure ridge today. Clear skies from Boston through New York down to Philadelphia. Temperatures in the mid-60s with light winds. If you are out there, enjoy it. Perfect afternoon to be outside. I am putting the action plan on your screen right now. Step 1. Charge every device in your home and make sure wireless emergency alerts are turned on. Step 2. Identify your shelter space, lowest floor, interior room, no windows. Step 3. Move vehicles under hard cover before 4 p.m. Central if you are in the enhanced zone. Step 4. Have shoes, a flashlight, and a weather radio within arm's reach of your shelter spot before sunset. These storms move fast. If a warning drops tonight, your family needs to be in that shelter in under 60 seconds. Make sure everyone knows the plan before the first siren sounds. Doppler track in transmission.